Hi, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads and welcome to my Poppy War reading vlog. However, I am a little bit scared. So, most brutal fantasy series are... What's that book called? The Poppy War? I have this real mistrust of, like, dying characters. I just finished The Poppy War and The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang is a trilogy, and the only thing I know about it is that it's really dark, really brutal, and it has like training school vibes. I'll let you know once I'm sort of into it a little bit more and I know what's going on. But this is one I've been wanting to read for quite some time. I've got the audiobook on Scribd and I have the physical book downstairs, not in my hands, sorry. And it's one that I'm really looking forward to getting. I'm a little bit scared because I've heard so much about it and I really want to like it. This is on my TBR Mash. This is my booktube prompt, Mina Reads. This was on her 2019 favourites list. So that is one that I'm going to read this month. So hopefully it doesn't take me too long. I feel like I could really power through it, but I want to start it physically, then move over to audiobook and physical because that seems to be the way for me at the moment. So now I'm just shy of 160 pages in The Poppy War. I thought I would actually tell you what it's about because now I know. It's about this young girl, Rin, who is a orphan from a previous war in this country called the Poppy War, and she was sent to live with a family who are essentially like drug smugglers. And her fate is destined to be marrying to a man like 4 times her age who just wants her to produce an heir. And to combat this, she basically inserts herself into this really prestigious military school, and where she defies all odds and gets in. And so far it's just about her tackling the prestigiousness of this school. So she comes from a very poor background, and everyone at this school has been training for this their whole lives, and it is very elitist, and there's lots of elements to it, and I've heard it's one of the most brutal series, most brutal fantasy series around at the moment, and it is already quite brutal, so I can only imagine what's to come. So yeah, that's my first sort of little chunk update. I did quite well, not updating every 5 minutes, but I read the first couple of chapters physically in the bath yesterday, and then I read most of it while listening to the audiobook so far. So the audiobook's really good, except for the masculine voices feel like a little bit overdone. Luna! So it's been a little while since I updated you. It is probably like a whole week later now since I last spoke to you about this book, and I am enjoying it still. I'm still really enjoying it, still really intrigued. The reason I haven't picked it up over other reasons is primarily because I've just been really busy. Some friends came to visit and I hadn't seen them in well over a year and a half, maybe nearly, yeah, a year and a half. So I hadn't actually spoken to them or seen them in a while, so I was just so distracted. And this week I've been trying to sort my life out in forms of a vlog, and it's not going too well. It's not going very well at all, because I've not been hitting my goals of trying to read over 100 pages a day. That's one of my goals, but that vlog's not going to be out till next week, because it's a weekly, it's a work in progress. But yes, the Poppy War. Let me tell you where I'm up to. I'm up to page 219, and it's interesting really because it's moving a lot faster than I thought it was. There's lots of gaps where she's like, oh, and then 6 months passed and I could do this, and 7 months passed and I did this, and I learned how to do this at my training, and it's very interesting the way that moves the story on. It's just not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be more detailed in those aspects. So I'm not too far into it now, but what percentage are we on? So it's 530 pages and I'm on 220, so I'm just shy of I'm just under halfway, really, give or take 45 pages. So I am quite far away from finishing, but I was hoping to finish this in a couple of days, so I'm actually going to try and binge as much of it as possible, because I just feel like I'm a bit stagnated in my reading at the moment. So I'd like to do some more reading, but yeah, I thought I'd do another discussion clip before moving on and getting back into it fully, so then you knew like sort of where I was sitting on it. Right, I'll speak to you soon. Hello, so it is Friday and it is the end of the week nearly. I've just got the afternoon of work to go, but I just thought I'd get on this video and tell you that I still haven't finished what's that book called? The Poppy War. I haven't made any progress, so that's why I haven't updated you. You'll have seen some shots of me going to the beach after work, you know, do my walks, bits like that. There was going to be another vlog for this week, which was like a get your life together week, but it hasn't been very successful, so I decided to, and I wasn't vlogging, so I really like the idea, but I think I'm going to do it next week instead, and this week just use all the extra clips for this vlog. That's what I'm going to do. So a quick update on the Poppy War, as it's been a little while, but it's, oh, I just hit myself in the eye, for God's sake. It is Sunday morning, and it's been a while since I started reading this, but I've just been like not in a reading mood, but still really enjoying this as a read. I've got about 120 odd pages left to read before I'm finished, and yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I really like the characters, I really like the setting. The pacing isn't what I was expecting, and sometimes it throws me off. Like, sometimes things move quicker than I'm expecting, and there are certain things like, oh, I wish I found out more about that, like more detail on that. However, I am enjoying the story for what it is. There are a couple of moments that have taken me like a little bit out of the story, and there has been some really sad moments which haven't been like, they haven't, the writing hasn't dwelled on them too much, and that makes me think, okay, so is that like not what it seems? I don't know, like I have this real mistrust of like dying characters basically, because of Game of Thrones. I was reading another book, because I was like, I'm thinking, how am I going to post a 10-second spoiler clip for another book series here? But there's another book series that I read, in which I was convinced that a certain character wasn't actually dead, and then in the end, where they were actually dead, like the death hit me kind of weirdly, because I was particularly attached to this character, but I was convinced they weren't dead because I didn't think they dwelled on it enough, and I didn't see it on page. Like, I didn't see their eyes shut on page. So yeah, I've got a deep mistrust of any like lovable characters or any nice characters dying. Not that's particularly the case. Everyone's very flawed in this series. I feel like I just kind of want a little bit more from it. It's still really good. It's feeling very 4 stars. I just feel like there's so much going on that I'm like, okay, so where this character is very like, it's very hard to follow, and it's very hard to get attached to the side characters. I mean, there are a couple that obviously we sit with a lot throughout the story, but so much has changed since the first part of the book, and I think it's really good, and I am really enjoying it. But there's just so much going on, and I'm just, but I probably won't update you now until I finish the book. Just finished the Poppy War, and we just finished the Poppy War, and
Tom!
I'm really scared because every time I start talking, my boyfriend runs in and makes stupid noises to be annoying. And now there's someone talking outside on the phone very loudly. Can you please be quiet? Thank you. I just finished the Poppy War and it's taken me a little while, but I really enjoyed it. It's just plot, moving fast. So much going on. There's so much to do. There's so much there's so much to it. However, I do feel like there was a little bit more that I wished for from the characters, and sometimes I wished it slowed down. I think overall that's the sort of my general feeling. I really like where it's going. I was surprised that the sort of enemies that, or the issue, let's just say, I was surprised that the issue that we were facing was resolved and then led to obviously further issues to a few more books. But I was surprised with the resolution and how it all happened. I didn't think we were going to get to that point in, I assume, Rin's arc just yet. So it does add a lot of dimension and so much to it. It's just like, I think it's not what I'm used to. It's very different to what I'm used to, but I still really enjoyed it, and I'd definitely say it's a good 4.5 stars. So that's pretty. It's the next day and I've had some time to think about my rating and core pile and stuff, and I just thought I would update you on my rating because, well, I just thought that I wasn't as clear. So it is actually getting a 4 stars because it got an 8 overall on core pile. And I thought I'd just do the little breakdown because I gave it a 7 for characters and a 7 for atmosphere, because those were the elements that I felt were really the area of things. Like the atmosphere wasn't built as much because things move so quickly, and the characters, I didn't like, there was just a little bit more, I think, development, character quiet moments that make you fall in love with the characters and give you the real motivations of the characters that I sort of was hoping for. I gave it an 8 for writing because it was really good, but there was nothing that made it, I couldn't give it a 10, for example. Plot, I gave it a 9 because the plot was really interesting and I loved every element of it. It just moved too quickly, so I felt like that was more of an atmosphere. It's a bit of everything, really. Intrigue was an 8 because it took me a really long time to read, but I was interested throughout. But I think I can't give something a really high intrigue because intrigue to me is how quickly I want to read it. And sometimes I just wasn't picking it up even though I had the time. Logic was a 9 because pretty much everything made sense. There was a couple of moments where I was like, what's going on? But most of it pretty much made sense. And I gave it an 8 for enjoyment because I really enjoyed it. So I think it's a really good, solid 4 stars. So I'm pretty pleased with that, pretty chuffed. And just to say thank you so much for watching this video. And if you liked it, please chat to me in the comments and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye. Now let's talk about my genres. And I didn't really see myself as a romance reader until this year, which is a shame, quite a crying shame. However, I am a little bit scared. So most brutal fantasy series are, what's that book called? The Poppy War? I have this real mistrust of dying characters. I just finished the Poppy War and